Alright, so for my project, I decided to model 3D printing lag. The motivation is that I think 3D printers are sick. I recently bought my own, and I figured that between the filament being pushed into the nozzle, then melted and extruded out the end, there must be some sort of delay that I could model. So here's how I modeled it. First, I modeled the stepper motor pushing filament toward the nozzle, and then also the nozzle receiving that filament and pushing it out the end. I divided this into two little subsystems, with the first system being the stepper motor pushing, and the other one being the nozzle receiving and pushing out filament. Mathematically, solving these was not too difficult. I just had to sum the forces on the first model and then use the continuity equation to solve for the change in pressure on the second model. Now, an important thing to note is that I wanted to find the velocity 1 or the velocity in and compare that to the velocity out and see what kind of delay they could have. But I only had the pressure in the nozzle, so to relate those two, I used the volumetric flow rate out, which contains both the pressure and the velocity out, and was able to solve for the velocity out. Lastly, I had to find my constants, and here's how I did each of them. Feel free to pause the video and take a look if you'd like. So once I was all ready with that, I plugged it into MATLAB, and here's what I got. So first, to be able to understand these graphs, I have to explain a little difference. To be able to compare the speed of thick filament going in with thin extrusion coming out, I had to multiply the input speed of the filament by the ratio of the filament size to the nozzle size. This gave me an ideal velocity coming out or being extruded, because it's as if the filament speed got turned directly into extrusion speed. That's what these red lines represent. The blue lines represent an underdamped, critically damped, and overdamped system, and how the speed of the filament reacted. And you'll notice that the delay between the red and the blue line, even though it looks big on these graphs, is actually very small. Each one of these graphs happens in 1/10,000th of a second. So then I then tried taking a slow-mo video of both the nozzle and the filament and then play them back at the exact same time so I could take real-life data to validate my results. But I soon discovered that it's very hard to play back two videos at the exact same time. Here's as close as I got. So although I couldn't figure out how to validate my model, I trust that my results are pretty accurate. My key takeaways are that 1, 3D printers have almost no delay. It's probably due to the high elastic modulus, or the modulus of elasticity of PLA, and also the high bulk modulus. They don't really compress very much. The other is that it's very hard to get two slow-mo clips to play at the exact same time. Almost impossible for me. And this last idea I had is that printed plastic that's already on the table may make the pressure outside the nozzle greater than atmospheric. Right here you can see that this plastic already on the table might block the nozzle and increase the pressure. This would mean that the pressure inside the nozzle has to increase even further before it would extrude plastic, meaning that the delay could be greater than in my model. So those are some things to think about as well. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Go 3D print something and have a great Christmas. See you later.